Hello, my people. You're welcome to the second lesson of Tech Skills with MD Dolly. I believe you're fine. And how was the last lesson? I hope you found it very interesting. So, last lesson we talked about introduction to technology. We talked about internet. We talked about websites. We talked about web pages. And we talked about tech tools. We looked at HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as tools which we normally use to build website. And today we are going to be looking at HTML proper. So if you have missed the last lesson, I'm going to leave the link to it in the description. Either you're watching from Facebook or you're watching from YouTube. The link to the previous lesson is going to be in the comment section so that you can go through it in case you missed that. So today we are going to be looking at HTML, and the full meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language. First of all, HTML is the language that web developers use to build websites. You know, the language, I want to compare web developers with bricklayers. So the way bricklayers use blocks, you know, to construct buildings, to construct structures, is the way web developers use HTML to build websites. Just, take it that way. So now, let's break HTML into pieces. Let's first talk about the hypertext. HTML, I said, is hypertext markup language. Let us take hypertext first. So hypertext, you know, is let's say hyper means something that is beyond, ordinary. All right. So anything you see on your website that is text or beyond text, take it as hypertext. Hypertext is referring to the contents of the website. It could be your text, it could be your images, it could be your videos, you know, anything that you see on your website, take it as hypertext. It could be your button and all of that. So it could be audios, it could be links. So anything you see, while browsing, take it as your hypertext. All right, so that is hypertext. Hypertext, I want to describe hypertext as the contents of your website. So let's move on to markup. Now you understand what hypertext is. I said when you look at your screen as you're browsing, the text that you see, the images that you see, the videos that you see, the audio that you click on, take them as your hypertext. All right. So let us look at markup. Markup is, I want to describe it as you giving those contents, those text, those images tags. You know, uh, web developers are the ones that code these contents. Okay, let me explain this way. Take web developer, take web developers as the people, behind uh, the background. All right, presenting the content of the website to you that are looking at the screen. Okay, now they use HTML as a language to mark up content, to tag content, to give them tags like this content that I'm bringing to you. The browser should present it to you this way. Now take this content as secondary school students. Now web developers will give each student each tag. This one is in GSS1, this one is in GSS2. If these students are not properly tagged, if they are not properly marked up, if they are not properly named, you as a person, looking at the screen, will not be able to identify them as this is GSS1. So in that case, even the browser will not be able to interpret this content to you as it ought to be. For example, I as a web developer can mark up, can tag a content as, whenever the user of the internet is looking at this text that I want to present, you should see it as text. Whenever someone is browsing, this this button that I've styled, or let me say marked up, or let me say given tag, should be seen as a button. So that is the markup aspect. I've talked about hypertext as your content of the website, markup as you giving each content tags, you giving them should I say signs, so that the person browsing will be able to identify them, or browser will be able to interpret it the way the user of the internet will be able to identify it. All right, I hope it's clear. So now let's look at I've talked about hypertext markup, then let's look at language. The language part of HTML is only telling us that HTML has rules the way our languages have their own rules. The way your English language has its own rules. That is, for instance, if you are using a, a singular noun, it must take a singular verb in present position, in present tense form. You understand? Let's say he goes. I won't say he go. You understand? So the grammatical rule in English language says that if you use third person singular uh, as uh, as your noun or pronoun, it should take a singular verb, and singular verbs, you add s to them. He goes. So that is a grammatical rule. Now in HTML has its own rules that must be followed. If these rules are not properly followed, it means that the browser won't be able to interpret the language, and in return, you won't be able to present it to the person browsing. You understand? It might present it wrongly, or it might not even present it at all. So HTML is a language, is a markup language which we use to structure website. So I hope you understand that. If anything is not clear, you can drop in the comment section any question, or you drop in our community WhatsApp group for clarification. So now uh I'll talk about markup. All right. So examples like a button. Look at this button that I'm showing to you on the screen. All right. It has been marked as a button. The this developer of the website, and written the code so that you will see it as a button. All right. Now look at this other button that I'm showing to you on your screen. Now let's compare the two buttons. This first button is kind of it looks like skeleton, while this other button is more beautiful. You know, CSS has been applied to this button that you are seeing, that is beautiful, that has the background color of red and front color of white, while the other button, they are the same thing. You understand? But CSS is as good as you building your house and you have not painted it, or you have not designed it. All right. So HTML is what you are going to use to build, while CSS is what you're going to use to design. So we are going to get to CSS, but for now we are on HTML. All right. So uh, look at the image on your screen. I used uh, I used HTML as well as CSS actually to style to structure the image, and as well as to style it with CSS. and that's the way you are seeing it as an image. If there is an error while I was writing the code for this image, the browser won't interpret it as an image and you won't be seeing it as an image. All right. So don't worry, we are getting there. Now let's look at this paragraph. You know, okay, don't worry. Talk about now. Let's look at HTML tags. So HTML tags, like I've been saying, are those signs that you are going to be putting to each content for it to be well interpreted as content. So, and tags always come as opening and closing. So the opening tag has the angle bracket, right? While the closing tag has angle bracket as well, but you could see that a slash is put uh, immediately after uh, the sign that looks like a less than. You understand? So compare these two, this opening tag, closing tag, where the signs, are put. So HTML tags are always in pairs. And talk about headings, heading tags. This type of tag is a tag that you use to attach to any text which you want to use as your heading, on your website. So, and we have H1 up to H6. So look at it. We have opening tag H1. Then we have the closing tag closing that thing that you have written. You understand? Let's say you want to write a, a what is it called? You want to write a composition about yourself or your favorite food. You now say my favorite food. So you are going to use opening tag of H1, then you write my favorite food, then you close it with the closing tag. All right, so that's the way to write heading. Then we have different types of heading. We have from H1 to H6. While H1 is used for the main topic, H2, A3, H4, you will use those ones for the sub topics. So now exercise, what you are going to do now, you can go to www.okyogumarket.com/editor, or if you go through the notes of this lecture, you are going to see a place where you are going to practice this exercise that you are seeing on your screen. So, but if you want to practice it directly without going through the notes, just go through www.okyogumarket.com/editor. I'm still going to leave that in the comment section as well. And if you have any question concerning that, you can ask. So what you're going to do is that you're going to write this code the way I've written it, this H1, this angle bracket, uh, inside which we have H1, and this is heading 1. Write it that way inside that code and run the code, and let's see how it goes. So it should give you something like this. So practice that. Then after that, you can go to the quiz. I'm still going to leave the link for you to practice that quiz. It's a CBT exam where marking is automated. You're going to see the result immediately. All right. So that ends it. Till the next time that we're going to meet, my name is MB Dolly. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask. All right. Bye for now.